Welcome to lesson 9, problem number 1, where we are finding the slope of the line between these two sets of points. Okay, so let's look at A. What I want to remind you about before we even get started is that the slope of a line, sometimes referred to as M, is written as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, because it's really the change in the y values over the change in the x values. I know I say this all the time, but this is one of the most important things for you to know as you move on in algebra and geometry and so forth. Okay, so if we find the slope of the line between these 2 points, I can, and you don't have to do this, but I'm going to do it for right now. I'm going to call the coordinates of the first point x1, y1, and the coordinates of the second point x2, y2. So now we're simply going to take y2, which is 3. This is where it gets a little tricky, minus a negative 2, because it's y2 minus y1. So it's 3 minus a negative 2. Now, when we get that, we're going to have to turn that into addition in a minute. But in the denominator, we have to change in the x value. So it's negative 8 minus 7. When we simplify this, the 3 minus a negative 2 becomes a plus 2. So we end up with 5 in the numerator and negative 15 in the denominator. And a little review of reducing fractions, that becomes negative 1/3. Okay, let's look at the next one. All right, so this time we have 9 minus 1 over negative 8 minus a negative 8. Something unusual is going to happen this time. In the numerator, we have 8. In the denominator, remember how this is going to turn into a plus, because negative 8 minus a negative 8 becomes a negative 8 plus 8, which we know is 0. So anything divided by 0 is undefined. So that problem, the slope of the line that contains these 2 points, is undefined. And if you forget, some people forget whether 0 is allowed in the denominator or in the numerator. I have a little bit of a clever way for you to remember that. So let me just show that to you down here. If the 0 is in the numerator, it is okay to have 0 in the numerator. Okay, that's equal to 0. But if you have 0 in your denominator, no, that is not allowed. No. So no 0 in the denominator, that's undefined. And that's why this answer was undefined. Okay, great job. See you next time.